Okay, so what I'll try to show you today is that Kihon, Kata and combat are not that different as many people may think. So I will try to show you something about the development of Kihon or Kata, and then some principles which you need to know in order to decode Kihon, to understand it, and then also some principles that you can take from Kihon. It works both ways. Okay, so as I said before, most people when they say Kihon or Kata, this is here and combat is here. So first of all, I have one question, and please be honest. How many of you think that Kihon sucks? Just 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, before I came here, I've been practicing karate for 10, 15 years, and I can tell you, Kihon sucks. Unless you know what you're doing, then it stops sucking. Okay? By the way, please excuse my language. Sometimes I may say a bad word, and part of it is because I'm vulgar, and the second one is because I teach at a grammar school, and I can't use it, and it hurts. So, you can't imagine how good it feels to say fuck in front of so many people. Please bear with me, okay? Good. So, first, I'll tell you something about the development of Kihon. First thing, you need to know that Kihon evolved from combat, not the other way around. It's not the same as with the chicken and the egg. We know which was first. Combat was first, okay? So, as Borut said, people from Okinawa, they trained and they tried to prepare themselves for the most common ways of attack. So, if I can ask Rok, please give me a hand. Okay. So, imagine we are two Okinawan bodyguards, if you will. So now we're discussing combat, and he says to me, you know, when I saw combat, when I experienced it, most people hit like this. It's not schooled. This was not schooled combat. People usually, most of the people didn't train in martial arts. So this was the, how do you say, pre-mouse era. So most people didn't know how to really fight. So the attacks weren't as schooled as they are today. So they were rough. And one of the, let's say, one of the most common attacks that most people do is the haymaker. It's not a schooled punch, it's just a big punch. So the two bodyguards are now discussing the haymaker, and they develop a reaction to the haymaker, which works 90% of the time. So they practice. And what they come up with is, I should block the hit, which is always a good idea, and then I should just, well, as I said, I will swear, so I should just fuck him up, okay? So, if we show you the combat side, he throws the haymaker, I block, he puts his hands here, I pull them away, I hit him here, again, there it is. Okay, works every time. Possibly with a little less noise, thank you. So this is the combat application. This is what works. They tried it, worked. Tried it the second time, worked. Okay, now he has to go home and tell his wife about the asshole who just threw him on the ground, and I'm left alone. Now I have to practice. What do? I try to visualize Rok and do the same thing. Okay, he threw the haymaker, good. So now I block it. What did I do then? I grab his head, I punch with the elbow, he blocks, okay. So I have to put his hands away. I punch him or hit him in the neck, I knee him, he goes down, I land the elbow, I grab him and I pull him down. So this is my solo practice, so to say. And then I do it again, I teach another person, and eventually it may look something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we have Kihon. It looks a bit unrealistic. But why does it do that? Because it's ideal. It shows the ideal principles. I can practice by myself things that I can't practice on Rok because he's my friend. I can use my hips more than I could on him. Okay? I can use the stance to tell me how to regain my balance. So this is all the things I can do within Kincl. So when I'm alone, I can use my hips. So my punches get stronger. My hips get more nimble. Okay? So now, you saw that Kincl in practice is ugly. It's not like this. So you have, this is Kincl, but the application is always alive. It moves with the opponent. Good? Okay, so now, as I said, I can practice the Kincl, its ideal moves. Try to think of it this way. When I say shadow boxing, everyone knows what that means. The boxer practices by himself. He has the ideal stance, his balance is good, he puts his body in the punch. So, and this is practice. Nobody says shadow boxing is shit because you don't have an opponent, because we know what it's for. It's the same with Kincl. Just think of Kincl as, I don't know, shadow grappling. That's it. And then it starts to make sense. Why do you use both hands and so on? Okay. Another thing you get asked really, really often if you teach martial arts. What if your opponent does this? This technique can't work because his hand, it's hyperextension is a good example. This technique doesn't work, and it usually doesn't. Because, why? Because he makes his hand strong. Okay? So people say this technique doesn't work. He tenses up and I can't do it. Okay, let's go basic. Let's think about a very, very basic technique. Let's say, the rear, not cross. Okay, the rear cross. Is it a good technique? Yes, it works. Everyone knows this can knock somebody out. Okay? So, if it's such a good technique, and I throw it, why is it that everything he has to do is this? That's it. He moves his head 5 centimeters. This is the defense. So this technique must suck because all he has to do is this. No, I have to adapt my technique to his reaction. I step forward 5 centimeters. That's all I do. I adapt my technique and then it works. It's the same with the hyperextension. If he tenses up, I untense him. Then it works. So I have to adapt my technique to make it work. It's as easy as that. Okay? So how do we make that? One of the principles we can use is we learn about the human body. One of the things that the body does is it reacts to pain. We have a lot of years of evolution which will always override what we're trying to do. Because evolution in our bodies, it says if it hurts, move away. Okay? And the body will always do that. If he wants to choke me, he's really intent. His whole body wants to choke me. But not anymore. Because his body says, okay, we want to choke this guy, but we need the eyes. So we go like this, every time. This is a predictable reaction. Another one, if I go here, he will move this away. He might need it someday. Okay? And he's